Hello and good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Sunday. It's hard to believe we're already at another week, but I'm so glad that we are into March. Yay! It felt like it would never come, right? And I'm welcoming March into my life like an old friend who I haven't seen in a year, but it feels like years and years and years. But I wanted to hop on really quick and share with you my excitement because my two most favorite essential oils ever, just about pretty much ever. These are pretty high up there. The number one is pretty much the number one, and then the second one is amongst my favorites, but there's a couple others that I would add into the mix. But without further ado, I wanted to talk with you a little bit about Serenity. Serenity is called the Restful Blend, and I was introduced to this blend essential oil a few years ago when I was living in New York, and I was going through a little bit of a hard time at that time. Hey, Jenny. Jenny understands because she lived in New York around the same time that I lived in New York. And during that time, the days were really short. It was really dark and gray and overcast, kind of like today, if you can see out my window. And it was super duper duper cold. I had a very busy 2-year-old who was having trouble coping with a lot of just everyday things like getting dressed and bedtime routines and getting, dressed in the morning, school routines, church routines, or when things weren't in routine. So I was dealing with a lot of his meltdowns, not too atypical for a 2-year-old. And then I had a little tiny one who I was nursing at the time, and he was such a good baby, but I was struggling with some anxiety because shortly after he was born, we had a situation where he ended up in the NICU. And from there, the pulse ox machine kept going off, and basically I saw Joel clench up, stop breathing, and then the pulse ox machine would plummet, and all the nurses would come and run, and it would just kind of freak me out. Hey, Christy, nice to see you. West Point was really rough. Talking a little bit about West Point and my two favorite things that helped me get through it, and here's one of them. So back to my story. It was cold, it was dark, the days were short, we were inside, we had some major cabin fever. My eldest was 2, having meltdown after meltdown after meltdown. One time I counted, he had almost 30 meltdowns in one day. And when I talk about meltdown, I mean like throwing himself on the floor, screaming, not using his words. It was pretty intense. And then I had a little tiny one who I was nursing at the time, who shortly after he was born, he ended up in the NICU, and I was by myself with him, and we got transferred to another hospital, and they had to do spinal tap. And overnight, when they were monitoring him on the pulse ox, the machine kept showing him basically with some kind of, probably like an apnea, where he would stop breathing and the pulse ox machine would plummet. And then all the nurses would run in and check on him, and then his oxygen level would go back up. So it was never in like the super dangerously low areas, but it was scared me enough to have anxiety bringing my baby home. And so that's basically what happened. I stopped sleeping because between nursing him, which was fine, I never had trouble with that. I was so grateful to be able to nurse him despite having to change my diet so that I could. I watched him. I watched him at night. I would watch him all night long. And I would just check on him. I did videos of him. I watched him do all sorts of weird things. Hey, Jennifer. And it was just like a crazy time, and after that is when we had some Lyme exposure. And so on top of all of that, when Joel was about 6, 7 months old, we also started getting really sick. So about every 4 weeks, we would come down with something yucky, whether it was like fevers with no other symptoms, or whether it was vomiting, or the other, two-way blowouts, let's just put it that way. And it wasn't just me, it was Lewis, and it was Joel. And it was so weird that we would all cycle on the same 4 weeks. We would go through this whole thing. And I remember one time, Joel and Lewis both, their fevers were up to 104. And there's no explanation for why, you know. And even one weekend, the boys had the flu, and I got sick, and my husband was out of town, and I was playing whack-a-mole. You know, I get one baby down, and I get one baby down, and the other one pop up, and then all the while, and then I got sick. So working on day 3, I just called Lewis and I begged him, please, 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 please just come home. And it was like 3 in the morning, and he drove from Pennsylvania all the way home to relieve me. And then about a day or so later, I finally was like, whew, thank God that's over. So all that to say, it was kind of a crazy time. I'm so glad that we're not there and we're so much more stable as far as our health goes. We made a lot of changes in our life. We went to an AIP diet, which is anti-inflammatory diet. Hey, Joel, say hi to my friends.
Hi.
And we started on an herbal protocol. Then we started boosting our immune system with lots of different supplements. And then I started working on my anxiety. I did find someone I could chat with, which was good because I could, you know, save up. Some days I was just like, if I can just make it to Wednesday and then I have a safe place to just let it out, you know. And sometimes you need that. You may not be in a place where you get to hang out with friends or, you know, be in a place where you get to worship with family or, you know, have that safe place or that safe person. It was just a really crazy time, and Lewis was working a lot. So, and he did the best he could, right, to try to support me. But there's certain things that I just had to work through on my own. And so my friend introduced me to Serenity. Now, before I knew much about essential oils, I think my perception of essential oils were like, they're like kind of musky and they smell really earthy and they smell kind of like going into like a medicine shop, like an old school medicine shop, and would have this kind of like heavy smell, almost like, you know, incense or something. Not that they all smell bad, I'm just saying, like, that was my perception of what an essential oil was kind of all about, or what it smelled like. I didn't have a lot of exposure to the actual oils themselves, except for when I started working with Joel on his gut health. So when my friend introduced me to the Serenity oil, it smells so good. It's called the Restful Blend, and it has lavender as its main ingredient, and most people know how, like, lavender is amazing. And they joke around and call it the gateway oil. It really is. Okay. It also has cedarwood, it has cinnamon, it has yangling, marjoram, Roman chamomile, it has vetiver, and it has vanilla, and it has sandalwood, the Hawaiian sandalwood. So thinking about Hawaiian sandalwood, that's like beachy, and vanilla is kind of a beachy smell. And so for me living in New York, this was so good because it just kind of gave me, like, imagine lavender plus beach put together. That's kind of what that smells like. So it totally blew away all of my preconceived notions what essential oils could smell like, and that it was just a really practical thing. Hey Pamela, talking a little bit about my favorite essential oil, Serenity. And it just kind of blew away my perception of, like, oh, essential oils must smell like, you know, some weird herbal shop or like old lady or something like this. I'm just being honest, you guys. Please don't, like, come down on me too hard, okay? I'm just telling you what it was like for me. And so when I started just using the lavender, it was amazing. So you can do a couple things with the Serenity or lavender, same thing. So you can just open the bottle and you honestly can just smell. Just smell. Oh my gosh. Like, I wish I could just give this to all of you. Just smell it. Just smell. So it was nothing like what I expected at all. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing you can do is you can just do one drop in your hands. And this is what I would do. Just one drop. And you just rub that together. And then just take some deep belly breaths. Okay, ready? I'm going to do 2 just for my own sanity today. You can't help but feel refreshed. You just can't. You can't help it. So this right now, hey Pamela, it just opens everything up right in here. And Pamela knows because she is a huge essential oil fan. She's one of my oily sisters. So right in here, and the other thing I love to do is just kind of rub it on my neck. And then also just rub it right in here, right under, is this the clavicle? Ooh, the clavicle. Yeah, it's okay, bud. There's nothing in the oven.
There's nothing?
Yeah. So anyway, so you can do that, and you can rub it right over your heart if you want. It's a great thing. So, okay, so I started using that for my anxiety, which was really, really helpful. And the other one that I was introduced to is this one, and it's called Balance. And I love Balance. Balance has it's also calming, and it kind of like grounds you, and it is called the grounding blend. It has a different mix of essential oils, so let me tell you about that. It has spruce, which you wouldn't really guess that, but it's amazing. Cinnamon, frankincense. Frankincense is such a great oil because it's an enhancer oil. It's almost like Big Brother coming in to give you like whoop whoop, to whatever you're doing. So I love frankincense for that. Blue tansy, blue chamomile, and then one more, osmanthus. That's a big word, osmanthus. So I'm gonna open this up. I'm gonna let you guys see me taking a nice whiff of this. This is so good. Now both of these are great for diffusing, so you can diffuse them. And the other thing, see, I almost always have this vest on, and I make my own little roller bottles. Let me show you. So I fill it with halfway with fractionated coconut oil, which you can get on Amazon Prime, or if you're on doTERRA, you can pick up a bottle there. I tend to buy in bulk, like really big ones, because then I make a lot of little rollers, and I keep them in my vest in different rooms in the, my office, or, in the kitchen, or wherever I need them. So I do that, and then I just add my 10 drops of whatever. Now I start with 10 drops, but you can do more than that. I am very sensitive, so I don't actually need a whole lot of the essential oil. And the great thing about that is, because I'm so sensitive, my essential oils last a long time. Now, this past week was buy one, get one free. So I'm just telling you now, keep in touch with me if you're interested in the oils, because I will always tell you when these buy one, get one free deals. So this last week, if you buy Serenity, you can get the Balance for free. I know, Pamela, don't you love Balance? It's amazing. Now, if you missed out on this deal, but you are still interested in working together and getting this second one, talk to me, okay? Let's chat, and I will help you set up your account. I will help you find based on where your budget is, and I truly believe essential oils can be used on any budget. So let me show you this really quick. This is it's adorable. It's a trio kit. Okay, let's have some guesses. There are 3 essential oils in here. Do you want to guess how much this kit cost? Any guesses? Most of the time, a lot of times I hear people say, oh, essential oils, I would love to use them, but they're so expensive. And I'm like, oh yeah? Okay, well actually, 1 drop, if you take it pennies, some of them are as low as 4 cents per drop. 4 cents a drop, and a lot of times it only takes 1 drop. So 1 drop of lemon in your water, that's 4 cents. And in these little bottles, there's 85 drops. So that's 85 days. That's 2.5 months. And that little bottle, if you prorate it in here, would be $5. So $5 over 3 months is not even, 2.5 months. We're talking like $2 a month, right? So it's not as expensive as you would think. I'm just saying, okay? I wanted to tell you this because that's something I hear a lot. People are like, oh, I'd love to use them. My friend uses them. I love it. I love going to her house. It always smells so good and she's so calm, and I'm so like, ah! And then they'll say, but it's so expensive. And I'm like, well, it doesn't have to be, let me help you. I will help you find that right kit that works with your budget. And it's definitely possible. So let me show you this little kit. Okay, this is my little trio kit, and it has 3 of the most popular essential oils. And when you get started, I will also help connect you into a Facebook group where there's tons of videos, tons of support. We're all there for each other, just like celebrating birthdays and just answering questions. A lot of us who've been doing the oils for a long time share our classes, share our videos, share just amazing articles that we've come across. So it's such a fun place to be. And if you have personal goals for like self-care, or you just want to make some changes in your life and you want to be amongst others who are doing some of the same things, come join us. It's so much fun. We have like team challenges, and like I said, there's so much information in our group. You're gonna love it. So in my little trio kit, I have lavender. Hey Stephanie, how are you? I'm talking a little bit, we were talking about the buy one get one from last week, and we're telling folks, like, reach out, if you missed it last week, it's not too late. I will help you figure out how to get both of these, okay? So we're talking about this. I had people guess how much it costs to get 3 essential oils, because the thing I hear is people say, it's so expensive. I would love to get started, but it's so expensive. And then I'm like, well, actually, it's about 4 cents a drop, depending on the oil. It's really only 4 cents a drop. If you take lemon in your water, that lasts 85 days, a little bottle, about 1 drop a day, 85 days, that's 2.5 months at 4 cents a drop. You do the math. It's really not bad at all. So lavender, like I said before, is so great for calming. It's also good for little boo-boos and just every day. My little guys love, oh, I know, Valence is amazing. My little guys love lavender, okay? So lavender's in this little kit, and then peppermint's in the little kit. I love peppermint. It's also great to add to your water. It's also great with, a stomach that's a little, upset. I love that. It's really good for boosting your mood and making you feel more awake and alert. So I love that. Great for focus. And the last one is lemon. Again, great for adding to your water. This is an awesome little boost, a really good gentle detox. You can also, if you like lemon chicken, you can cook with it. And I just love it. It's really like a good mood lift too. So this one's good for calming. This one's good for boosting your mood. And then this one's also good for giving you that little bit of an extra focus. So all of these are fantastic. And like I said, all 3 of these in the starter kit is $15. Okay, so Stephanie says we use lemon so much this week to thin mucus in the coughs. That's great. You know what? That's a really good point, because you can take the lemon and add a drop to tea, and you can have that on hand. Sometimes I don't have lemon, or I don't want to cut it, or it's in the fridge and it's kind of old, or I didn't have access to the organic lemon like I wanted. So you can just add a drop of lemon to your water or to your hot tea, and that also just helps clear out. The other thing, if that's too strong for you and too potent, the other thing you can do is you can do a lemon steamer. So same thing, you can warm up your mug, like get a really big mug, like the biggest one you can find, and warm up that water in like a hot water kettle, then add a drop of lemon, add a drop of the peppermint, and then get a towel, and then just take deep belly breaths, like just breathe it in and let it go, and do that like for a couple of minutes, and that really helps clear some of this congestion up in here, and it can be really helpful without having to resort to a medication that could make you feel really drowsy or might have like dyes in it. I know it's really hard to find stuff that, for us in our family with the boys, we try to do dye free. And it's actually can be really difficult to find something that I feel good giving to my kids. So just a couple little tips. The other thing great with lemon, you can diffuse that, of course, in your house, and also rub it on the bottoms of your feet. Same thing with the peppermint, especially when you're not feeling well. And if you have your temperature's not in the normal range and you want to try to work on that too, it's another great thing. You can just roll that up and down the spine, and that can help. Also, I use the peppermint sometimes when I'm having some pressure, right up in here, and so you can just roll it right on the temples, right in here. I also like it right behind the ears and right under here onto the neck. So that helps me because I tend to carry my stress and pressure right up here, and I tend to carry it right in here and just tensing up, and I don't even realize it. And so just even taking the time to massage and go down, take deep breaths, helps me relieve some of that. All right, so I won't stay on here forever, but I just, again, wanted to tell you all about my 2 most favorite essential oils. They're up there in the top. I would add Elevation, I would have to say. I love Elevation. This one is so great for calming. This one is great for rest, especially at night. Kiddos who are super hyper, bouncing off the walls, or maybe wound up and feeling anxious, this is great. And this one's also another really good one for the same types of issues. So reach out to me and I will work together. Oh, you diffuse all 3. You mean these 3, the little ones? That's a great idea. I love it. I love citrus with mint. I think I've figured out that just really makes my world go around. Okay, friends, I hope you have a beautiful Sunday. Sundays are my reset day, so I am going to start looking ahead at my big picture view, what the week looks like, and go ahead and plug and play those most important tasks. And stay tuned, because this month I'm going to offer a wonderful class about transitions, avoiding the tantrums. I know so many mommies whose kiddos have a hard time transitioning to sleep, and that affects the mom, it affects their sleep, it affects their quality time with their partner, and it just kind of goes into this vicious cycle. So I have some really great practical tips, because we've had a lot of issues with some sensory related issues and with self-regulation, emotional regulation issues. And so it used to be World War III at my house when it was bedtime. So I'm gonna put together a class for you guys and offer that this month, so stay tuned for that. Invite your friends. I think it's gonna be super practical. We'll talk a little bit about the oils, but it's more than that. We'll be talking about specific strategies and techniques to help transition, and we're actually gonna talk about how to phase in this new routine. So it's gonna be a lot of great information. All right, my friends, until next time, have a great Sunday. We'll see you later.